So the Madden 19 Deep Dive blog went live this past week, covering one of the most highly anticipated and highly scrutinized modes in the game, the franchise mode. There's quite a bit of information on the post that I recommend that you read for yourself if you haven't already, but today I wanted to focus on the top 3 additions that I believe can make or break the franchise mode in Madden 19. Now, I will preface this by saying that this is just my opinion, most of which is based on my hands-on experience with Madden 19 at EA Play, and also how I believe that should translate directly into this year's version of the franchise. Now, getting right into it, at number 3, we've got player archetype progression. For those of you that are unaware, Madden 19 switched things up a bit and will now use an archetype system that will categorize a player by skill type. Each position is now broken up into 2 to 4 styles used to grade the player. So as you guys know, archetypes are pretty popular among pretty much every game that I can think of nowadays. From 2K to MLB The Show, it just seemed like adding archetypes was the next logical progression for Madden. Now, with that, we're given quite a few archetypes per position. For quarterbacks, we have either strong arm, scrambler, west coast, or field general archetypes. We get 3 with the running back position in power back, elusive back, and receiving back. And with the receivers, we have 4 archetypes, with them being deep threat, possession, red zone, and slot receiver. And you guys, there's a lot more listed on the blog post. I'm not going to cover each one here, but I'm pretty sure you get the idea by now, and if not, feel free to check out the deep dive when you get a chance. So the way that it's going to work is pretty straightforward. You're awarded XP based on performance, and once you've earned a skill point, you can then spend it on one player archetype to upgrade the overall for that one archetype. Now, the reason this made my top 3 list is because it has the real potential of being an absolute game changer when you consider the way that real player motion works in the game. If you guys didn't get a chance to play it at EA Play this year, please take my word for it. Player movement and animations have been completely rebuilt from the ground up, so that now the players really move similar to the way that you'd expect football players to move. There's a really good sense of physics in the game, specifically in terms of gravity and momentum. And since archetypes now represent a player's ability on field, both archetypes and the new progression system could be the spark that we desperately needed in franchise. Coming in at number 2 on my make or break the franchise list is Coach's Scheme Fit. The inclusion of the scheme fit and the way that it works for Madden 19's franchise mode will be huge this year. For me, one of the biggest issues in the franchise mode from previous years has been a genuine lack of immersion and simulation during the team building process. Whether I was scouting for the draft or looking to acquire a player via trade or free agency, I always felt that there was something missing from that entire experience. I really enjoy having to put my GM hat on when I'm evaluating players, just so I can find the best player that's the best fit for my playstyle. I really think that the addition to Scheme Fit this year will help players like myself to accomplish that, as well as adding a bit more depth to the franchise experience overall. The way it works is that each scheme looks for a specific player archetype like we just talked about for each position. For example, the West Coast Zone running scheme looks for agile offensive linemen. All linemen that are agile will have a puzzle piece scheme fit icon denoting that they're a match. This helps you find the best players that are the best fit for your team. The scheme fit icon is visible in free agent bidding, trading, scouting, drafting, and more. Now, like I said, this is going to be huge for the franchise. This is exactly the way that it's done in the NFL. Just think about how many draft stories you've heard where a team will skip on a player because he's not a good fit for their scheme, or when a new coordinator gets to a team that trades a player that's already on the roster because he's not a good fit for what he wants to do. You see it almost every season, and I really applaud Madden for trying to incorporate some of the things that we see on a day-to-day basis in the NFL into Madden 19. I think it's definitely a good step in the right direction. Now, the reason this makes my top 3 make or break list is because of the huge advantage or disadvantage that Scheme Fit could potentially provide in game. I really hope we get to see the disparity between Scheme Fit players versus non-Scheme Fit players. The perfect example of this would be Devontae Freeman with Dirk Cutter and Pro Bowl Devontae Freeman with Kyle Shanahan. I'm really hopeful that we'll get a good contrast between the two, and if so, we'll have something really special. Number 1 on my list is depth chart positioning. Now, for this segment, you guys, I'm going to focus specifically on the defensive side of the ball because this is where I believe the impact will be felt the most in game. Teams will now have a specialist section with 7 depth chart positions. Nickel and dime defenses now use rush left end, rush defensive tackle, rush right end, sub linebacker, and slot cornerback positions. These players are best for downs where the offense is likely throwing the ball. For rush defensive tackle, rush left end, and rush right end, this means that the run stoppers are leaving the field and the pass rushers are stepping in. The sub linebacker spot's going to be used for your best coverage linebacker, and your slot corner will be the best player on your team with the slot corner archetype and the highest overall. Now, this one goes out to all my fellow hardcore NFL couch coaches and Madden Sim players. We all love this addition because it's exactly what we see on Sundays. Once again, I gotta tip my cap to the guys over at EA because we now have even greater control over player roles in certain situations. We no longer have to worry about doing mass substitutions on the fly or during timeouts. Everything is right there on the specialist screen, so at that point, it really just comes down to putting our best players in situations to win, and I really think this addition will help us do that. But anyways, you guys, it's just about all the time I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go on ahead and drop me a comment down below and let me know what you think about the Madden 19 news so far and what you think the biggest improvement in the game is going to be. I'm curious to get your thoughts. But like I just said, I'm up against it. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm signing off, and I'll see you in the next one.